list. I submitted some orders.
Council members, come on. Just a reminder, we are currently live.
And then click the.
Mr. Chairman, just for reference, I believe the city clerk is joining you and she has someone regarding the digitization project.
Thank you, Michael. We'll get started shortly as soon as everybody's on. Stacy, let me know when we have a full house.
Don't see Mitchell Galagnano. Oh, I see you. I think we're all here.
Terrific, then we'll get started. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our special meeting, March 29th, 2021. If I could call the meeting to order and please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Stacy, if I could ask you to please call the roll.
Councilman Gary Donovan,
Councilman Gary Donovan, Councilman at Large, present.
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor,
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor, Council at Large here.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky,
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky, First District, present.
Councilman William X. Conlon,
Councilman William X. Conlon, Second District, present.
Councilwoman Elizabeth Johnston,
Councilwoman Liz Johnston, Third District, present.
Councilman Mitchell Galagnano,
Councilman Mitchell Galagnano, Fourth District, present.
Councilwoman Robin Hamilton,
Councilwoman Robin Hamilton, 5th District, present.
Councilman Peter Massaro,
Councilman Peter Massaro, 6th District, present.
Councilwoman Trinae McGee, I see you. Councilwoman Crystal Finelli,
Councilwoman Crystal Finelli, 8th District, present.
Councilman Robert Bruno,
Councilman Robert Bruno, 9th District, present.
Councilman Barry Lee Cohen,
Councilman Barry Lee Cohen, 10th District, present.
and Chairman Ronald Quagliani.
Council at Large, Ron Quagliani, present.
We are all here.
Thank you, Stacy. If I could now ask you to read the call of the special meeting into the record.
West Haven City Council notice agenda of special meeting, March 29th, 2021. Notice, in accordance with rule number 11 of the rules governing the actions of the city council, Chairman Quagliani has called a special meeting of the West Haven City Council to be held at 6:30 PM on Monday, March 29th, 2021, via electronic means in accordance with standing rule number 30. Visit the city's YouTube site channel to watch the meeting live. The purpose of this meeting, special meeting, is as follows: deliberation actions on a line item transfer for the city clerk's office and extension of the outdoor dining permit fees process.
Thank you, Stacy. I will now turn the meeting over to Councilwoman Hosky as items 5 and 6 deal with finance. Councilwoman Hosky.
Thank you, Chairman Quagliani. Hold on. So to the Honorable City Council in the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of the City Clerk Patty Horvath and Mayor Nancy Rossi's line item department transfer. Wait, am I supposed to, I'm confusing myself. Am I supposed to read this first or bring out a vote? I messed myself up.
If you want to read the resolution as to what the item is, and then,
Oh, right.
then you could bring it out for a vote of the whole council. A motion second, and then discussion, and then vote.
Okay. So the line item is to, I've confused myself. So you don't have to tell me that again once more, Chairman Quagliani. So am I reading the line items or I'm not? Not what the vote was, but what the line items are.
Yes, you should identify
Okay.
what the transfer is that we will be motioning and seconding and voting.
I could have sworn I had this down, but now I don't. So the line item 112-500-1051-000, regular wages decreased by $2,000, and line item 112-500-1052-770, other contractual services decreased by $18,000, and line item 1125-0010-52480, other professional services increased $20,000. I'd like a motion to bring this out favorably.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Gagliano and Councilman Massaro. Can I have a second? Thank you, Councilwoman Finelli. Before, I'm going to open it up to discussion, but we have the city clerk, Patty Horvath here, and Matthew from IQS Services, who currently does a bunch of stuff for us in the city clerk's office. Patty, did you want to just go first and tell the city council why you had brought this up and what you wanted to do with it? Patty, if you're talking, you're muted. Patty, are you there? Mayor Rossi, I'm not sure what's Patty, but did you want to maybe just talk a little bit about what the goal of doing this was? And then we can go to Matt and maybe he can just explain a little bit more about it. I'm not sure what's going on with Patty.
As far as what I was told, and yes, Matt would probably be the better one to give all the details, but it's a way of digitalization in the clerk's office. It will have a return on its investment, my understanding is, and it will streamline everything because then we can charge a $2 fee on transactions going forward. So I don't want to speak for him because this is his expertise, but it will be a new source of revenue there, but it also will streamline the process now and get us, I keep calling it, from the Fred Flintstone age into the Jetsons age. So anyway, and I'll try to text Patty as soon as I mute myself and he starts talking to find out if what the problem is, because I seen her go off of mute, so I don't know what happened.
Okay, can you hear me, Mayor Rossi? Okay, great. My name is Matt Abert. I'm an account executive from IQS, and yes, the scope of this line item for $20,000, it's a project to digitize more land record images that are heavily searched. And we're going to make them available online, which does create revenue stream for the city of West Haven. Currently, the images on the land records search back to 1999. We're going to add an additional 4 years. It's a little over 100,000 images for this project. And yes, every image that's printed online from title searchers, local and national, create revenue to the town. So this does, in the long run, it is an investment in the product. Just to give you an example, I know right now for the month of March, I checked earlier this morning, and your revenue is up to about $3,300 for the month. So this is a real revenue stream. And so it's just going to enhance that, making more records available online. The ultimate goal, I think, for Patty is to get a 40-year search out there back to 1980, which, we're trying to chunk back and do as it allows. And so this is a big step towards that.
So we're probably going to have some questions for you, Matt. So
Yes.
Thank you. Patty, did you want to say anything about this? Matt did give us a rundown, but I did want you to have your opportunity to share why you brought this to us. You're muted, Patty.
Okay, sorry. I don't have a microphone on my computer. I forgot, and my phone wouldn't let me on the meeting, so we'll have to straighten that out. But first of all, thank you all for being here. I know budget time must be a horrible time for everyone, but so the title searchers, we always ask if they need anything, how they're doing, and they always say they wish we would have, more documents online like other towns, and they tell me that every other town has these documents. So, we did get a grant. Doug Coulter helped me. It was a small grant, and Matt did put some things online. But, there's so much that has to be done. So, and like Matt says, the money will come back to us because the copies are expensive. During COVID, we did a lot of the copying, and so it cost money with the toner and the ink, and plus, we were doing the work, which we shouldn't because we're not licensed. I don't know, any other questions? Matt,
Well, I did want to ask, and Matt, if you can just share, how long is the process going to take to get us caught up?
This particular project, we're doing almost 100 volumes of land record volumes. This process, from when we get the okay to start, when it's loaded and delivered, it's going to be anywhere from 14 to 18 weeks normally from start to finish. The first step is we send someone down on site to scan all these books because they're, by the state statute, they're not supposed to leave the vault. So we send a scanning technician down to your office, and it'll take 4 to 5 days to scan all the books. And then from there, next step is we bring them back, edit, make sure everything's good, readable. We have to identify where every document begins in every volume, and then we have to make sure it links up to her existing computerized index that's already on her system. Make sure we have a match for every index entry and in the loading process. So that does it. It's a little time consuming process. You usually expect 14 to 18 weeks, somewhere in that range.
And you said that we're currently at $3,300 for title searches this month alone?
We are, yeah, with 2 days left in the month. So it looks like you're going to finish up around 3,500 this month, give or take a little, yes.
Can you tell us like a year to date, like 2021, not like fiscal, but just like the last couple of months where we're at?
Yeah, so typically The slowest months of the year are November through February. Your January, you were 23 and change, 2,300 and change. It was 2,500 and change, and right now you're 3,377 for March as of earlier today. The busier months, real estate picks up March usually through September, October, and then it slows down again. So the peak months are coming up.
So I have one more question.
Today, for an example, we did $30,000. Just that's how much money we brought in.
Oh yeah, and recording fees, et cetera. Yeah.
30, is that a big deal, Patty?
Monday, yeah, Mondays are usually busy, but I think it is like Matt said, it's, plus all the window stuff. So it was a very busy day and we had 2 people out.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Matt a question.
Yes.
So if you were to say, and just come up with a reason, because I always try to cover both sides of this, why shouldn't we do it? Like what's the downside? Or
I really don't have one. There's a lot of reasons too. Obviously, these records are permanent records. And so this gives another layer of backup, if something were to ever happen in the vault. So you're backing up your records. You're making them available not only to the title searchers, but the constituents who like to go up and look at their deed or their mortgage. And so the good thing is, yes, like we said, it's creating a revenue stream, and it's also protecting the records. So I honestly, I don't know why anyone wouldn't put more records online. It's especially due to COVID. It's shown a really big need. We've been very busy doing this, especially this year. It's funny, we're actually we're in a good, situation where we're busy with work more than we ever have because everyone sees the need. Oh my gosh, we can keep people out of our offices, and help our staff. Our staff can now, stay more to their jobs reporting, like Patty's saying, on all the recordings they've come in. They're not helping people out in the vault, and you're keeping people out of the office. So I honestly, I wouldn't think of a reason not to. I mean, obviously budgets are always something to consider. With this one, it's always easy because there is revenue coming back on the road. So
when would you, if we were to approve this, when could you get started?
we would probably start sometime in the month of June to start. We would, because we're just about starting April. So just to give you a little reference, the state of Connecticut, the grants that Patty was talking about, they're all due in June, and we're finishing up everybody's grant work for this year. And we should be clear, we'll be clear through those right about in June when those are due. And that's when we would start our non-grant projects. We just delivered her grant project. We got her, in through quick, but we still have some we're working through.
Okay, I'll stop taking.
Yeah, and I'd just like to give you a realistic timeline. I'd love to say tomorrow, but realistically, it'd probably be June.
I would love for you to have said that too. I'm not gonna. I think I told you that on the phone, right? I did.
Yes.
I did when we were talking. Okay, so I'm sorry. So does anybody else have any other questions for Matt, Councilwoman Hamilton?
Hi Patty. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Rob.
Hi.
Thank you for coming. I just want to know, you talk about getting revenue. How does that work? If I'm at home and I want to see, what my deed looks like or whatever, how does that, can you tell me how that whole process works as far as the revenue part?
Yeah. So you as a resident, if you want to go to the town clerk's homepage in West Haven, there's a link to the search, and you can just get on and log in as public, and you can get on for free, and you can type in your name in the name field, and you're going to get the results of any property recorded in your name in the city of West Haven. And you can basically, you'll get a search results hits of any properties or any transactions in real estate. You can then view if these images are there that we're trying to scan more. You'll see the index information. And then if the images are there, which we're trying to do, you can also click and do your deed, your mortgage. So when that comes up, is just you looking at it. It's going to have a watermark. It'll say unofficial copy. And you really can't do anything with it. You can look at it and review it. But if you want to print it or download it so you have it for your records, that's when you get charged. And you would pay via credit card. A box would pop up when you're all ready. You have a little shopping cart you can add documents to. But you would pay not until you download it or print it. That's when you pay. And so the majority of our business isn't with people that are just the normal residents like yourself. It's more the title searchers, and they can use it from anywhere. And that's where your volume is, and that's where you're making money on all those printing and downloads that they're doing. they're searching title when a property's up for sale. They're checking, they're doing a title search on the history of the property to make sure there's no liens, et cetera, against the property. That's what they're doing, and they're printing all their documentation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Donovan?
Hi, good evening. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Patty, for joining. Matt, so what would the fees be for per deed or mortgage or title search?
So when you pay to print, or download, it's a $2 fee. The town gets $1 and my company also gets $1. And just so you understand where that dollar goes, what we do is we host your online search is hosted up here in Syracuse, New York, on one of our servers, so that when people are title searching, they're not hitting the town servers. Keeps you secure. They're hitting our site out here. So we host it here in Syracuse. We take all the support on it, and we take all the credit card fees in on our end. And for all that we do a revenue share 50-50.
All right, and the second part, if I may, Councilwoman, the fee to do this, and when do you think we would get that money back? Like, when will we generate enough? Could you guess on that or no?
Well, I mean, like I said, right now, this month, you'll probably finish around 3,500 for the month this month, your share. Okay. So, I mean, it's really hard to gauge, and it does get busier in the summer. Usually your volume will go up a little over the next few months, and it's a little slower, in the slower months, but it's really hard to gauge when you'll get the exact return on the investment.
Right.
The thing is, too, they're there forever to be printed once they're up.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Any other questions, Chairman? Oh, Councilman Bruno? Chairman of this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Matt, Patty, for coming in. We appreciate it. So, Matt, what is the total layout? What's the total amount of money that this is going to cost the city to get this up and going? And then Patty had mentioned something about some money on a grant. What is that equal to? What's our layout? What's it going to cost us?
So what I gave Patty a proposal to do 100,000, just over 100,000 images. We charge 20 cents an image to come on site, scan all the records. Then and then we bring them back, we go page by page at it, make sure they're there. We have to identify where every document begins and link it to your existing index. Because you have indexing right now on the computer for all these documents, but the images aren't there. So we're scanning and putting them in the right place with all the right documents. So this gets you almost 4 more years of records back. It's just a little under 4 years of records getting on. So it's a pretty good chunk. The grant, every year the state library makes available, depending on the town sizes, depending on the grant. Every year you receive $7,500 in grant from the state. That's what she mentioned. She worked on Doug getting the funding for that. And we actually just delivered hers for this year. We delivered it, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And that $7,500 got her about 1.5 years worth, I believe, if I remember. I don't have that one in front of me. Those are loaded. So typically we've been doing that $7,500 every year since we've been doing business with the city, which I think was 2013 or 14. So every year that grant's there, we always chip away, and it always gets us about 1 year, a little bit more. So we're looking to try to get a little bit more on there, right now we're loading records that are in the 90s, and that was the 90s were very busy. There's a lot of records in the 90s. Currently you're at 1999, and we're trying to get back right now to 1995 with this current jump.
No, I do agree, Matt, that we got to come out of Stone Age. I have no quorum with that. Now, that 20 cents, is that the going rate that all municipalities pay?
Yes, yeah, we do.
Pay.
We're just, we have our land record system in 35 cities and towns in Connecticut. Nearby to you, we're in New Haven, we're in Orange, we're in Stratford, Shelton, Fairfield. So we're all around you. And that's our price to come scan on site and do all the process. That's what everybody pays.
Everybody pays that. And then is that the same where you get half of what the dollar you were telling us? So everybody pays that amount of money also?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Matt.
Yes.
Thank you,
Quagliani?
Madam Chair. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Patty. Hey, Patty, thanks to you and Doug for again, applying for that grant. I think it's important, as Councilman Bruno said, that we kind of get our records digitized and being able to have them accessible as opposed to having to come in your office. So Matt, 2 questions. Where's the sweet spot as far as record year, right? You said we're not 99. This will get us back to 95. Where are your other communities that do you have a kind of like where they're at as far as how far back the average is?
You know, it is really across the board. Most people do by now have a 40-year search, getting back to like 80, 81. That's the magic number for the title searches. When they're doing a title search for when they're hired out to do it, they have to go back 40 years. That's where everyone, you shoot for that first. Then after that, everything's nice. Hey, if you can put more out there for more people, that's great. But that's your kind of essentially, you want to get to 80, 81. But as far as where everyone is, it's all over the board. We have towns that we've gone all the way back to the beginning, and they're, you know, back to the 1600s. And, you know, currently near you, I think over in New Haven, we're back to 1952 right now, but it jumps all around. It really does. Typically, you know, digital imaging in our industry started anywhere in the late 90s to the early 2000s is when people were really scanning in town clerks' offices. I believe yours started a little bit later. I think you guys were starting to digitize around 2005 or 2006, if I remember correctly, when we started back scanning. So, you know, it's just a matter, but most people started in the late 90s.
And are you strictly business with city clerks, or are there other departments that you digitize for other municipalities?
Nope, in the state of Connecticut, we work strictly with the town and city clerks. That's it. We're based out of New York. Our specialization is land records, and here in New York State, it's all county level government for land records. We serve 36 counties in New York State, and we do a lot of similar projects here. But yes, Connecticut, just a town clerk.
And I would imagine your overarching contract is with the state of Connecticut as far as being bonded, or certain requirements that you have to have for cybersecurity and things along those lines?
Yeah, for the land record system, which they run in the city clerk's office, you have to be state approved. I think there's 5 or 6 of us total. We are a state approved vendor in Connecticut.
Okay. And Patty, is this going to be a yearly budgetary item going forward? So does the FY22 budget have money in there for more years of digitalizing?
No, it's not. No, not for digitizing.
All right. Well, we may want to consider that in our deliberations going forward. But that's all I have, Councilwoman Hasse. Thank you.
Councilman Cohen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Matt, for coming. I think it's a worthwhile project. It pays for itself in less than a year, and it's long overdue. Patty, I congratulate you for your persistence to get us past the Mesozoic age. Absolutely. My question actually is, because it was something that Chairman Quagliani brought up, but I think it might be for Frank. Is Frank on the phone? Is Frank on the line? Then I just have a general question, and I have just a general question or for the mayor perhaps, and maybe it can't be answered here, but you know, I have this year's budget in front of us. And I remember this whole the scanning concern during last year's budget deliberations. And we had, and again, I don't question the amount of money, and I don't question the transfer, and I do approve of it. But according to what I have here, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I remember asking about budget line other contractual services. And in 2021, we basically raised the budget to $55,000 because the prior year it was $40,000. And at the time I asked, what was the $15,000 additional for from 40 to 55? And the response that I got was because they wanted to start the scanning project, which was $15,000. So that's where I thought that the budget line really comes under contractual services. Concurrently, the 11,000 line, and that is actually, that just to be clear, the $55,000 line is an IQS, okay? It was basically explained to us that being the 55, why so much more? It was a 37.5% increase. So a couple of us asked it, and that was supposed to be there. Now, since that time, I know that we got a grant, and that's great, that covered part of it. So I am wondering that perhaps this year we were budgeted for scanning. The second part of my question is the $11,000, as I understood it, for other professional services was really for Atkins, because that was really more about the election ballots, which I know that we got some reimbursement for. So I'm just wondering perhaps that that some money might have been misallocated or something, because it just seems to me that, unless I'm wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, the $55,000, that there was money put in there for scanning, because this is my writing from last year, and I'm reading off of what I had for last year. So, and I'm the guy who asked the question. So if no one has an answer, I guess to Chairman Quagliani's point, that's something that we should delve deeper in during budget deliberations, because I mean, I'm glad we're doing it, and I definitely want to make sure we have the money in next year's budget. But based on maybe my incorrect notes here, it looked like we did have some money for scanning above and beyond.
No, we didn't.
Okay, well,
There was no money budgeted for scanning last year.
Well, I'm just going by what I have here. That's all I can tell you. So all I'm saying is the question being, it went from 40 to 55, and I asked the question, and I was told 15,000 start a scanning project. I'm not saying it was used for scanning. I just want to make sure, like, again, because the budget had gone up so much the year before to 37.5%, and we're taking money out of a budget line that is really supposed to be for Atkins. The budget was divided, based on what this is. It went from 4,500 to 11,000. All I'm saying is I think we're going to need clarity in next year's budget, because I wasn't the only one who asked the question last year because of that big increase, and we did talk about scanning last year. That's all I had, and unfortunately, if I'm wrong, I apologize to the council, but it would just concern me because I'm looking at my book from last year, and that's exactly what I have here. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all I had. My apologies. Oh,
No,
please.
that's okay.
Yeah.
So Matt, can you clarify? Did you want to speak before I asked Matt his clarifying question?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm talking to Mayor
There's-
Rossi.
Talking right.
Yes, I'm
I
looking
do-
at you like I'm
Okay.
looking at you, right? Like, I'm sorry.
Yes, I would like to answer that. Here was the issue. We had to, because it is prior to the last quarter of the year, we had to remove funding from one of Patty's lines to switch around. Frank and I did. So because of this, that will be replenished after April the 1st with a different transfer. So if you're asking, is that line item going to be shorted? Yes, if the intent was to leave it there, but our intent was to take it out of unallocated contingency or one of the contingency accounts. But as everyone knows, the charter is really clear on this. You cannot go outside of your own budget the first 9 months of the year. Once April 1st comes around, there will be another transfer coming forward, whether it will be either the first meeting in April or the second meeting of April, and we will do that. So again, if you're concerned, Councilman Cohen, that somehow the line item is going to be shorted, that money is going to be put back. Okay, so I don't know if that helps anybody or clears up anything, but that was the reason.
No, I don't think, Mayor Rossi, I appreciate that explanation. I believe Councilman Cohen is saying is that last year in the 2021 budget, that part of the city clerk's money was to contribute to digitization, that there was money that was supposed to be used in one of the line items to start digitization this year. And that from what we're gathering, that the only digitization that may have been done is what was obtained from the grant, which is fine, because if you get the grant to pay for something, I'm excited about that, and the money can be used for something else. But was that the case, and was any other digitization done besides what was covered by the grant? I'm just
I understand that part, but what I'm saying is if we're taking money, that money is going to be replaced in the budget. So if anybody's concerned that the line item is going to run over in the next few weeks, whatever they're using the money for, I'll just be very generic about that. That money Patty's budget will be made whole again once we engage April 1st, April Fool's Day, later this week. We'll be able to put that money back out of unallocated contingency, because originally we were going to take the full amount from unallocated contingency. But once, tonight isn't the right time because the quarter isn't over yet.
Okay. So Matt or Patty, can one of you please advise, Patty, I don't recall, I don't have my 21 budget book in front of me. Was any money in your understanding in other contractual resources line supposed to be geared towards paying for additional digitization to get us out of the Stone Ages? Do you recall?
No.
No, you don't recall, or no,
No,
it wasn't?
we didn't start the scanning, right, Matt? I mean,
No.
we were in our vault once.
Yeah, we did one scan project for the 7,500 with the state grant.
Okay, so
That's the
nothing.
only scanning. That was the only scanning that was done, at least by IQS. Yes.
Okay. And so to add into what Chairman Quagliani was speaking, saying, and what we had discussed in your office a week and a half ago, I think, was that you were looking to try to get more funding. And Mayor Rossi, please tell me if I'm stepping out of line, but some of this funding doesn't not necessarily need to be in Patty's budget, because we can go after, correct me if I'm wrong, from what my understanding is with the conversations we've had, that we can go after more grants, and you might even be able to apply for some COVID funding because it would cover that. So it's not necessarily have to be in her budget for that to occur. Like, you didn't have to put that $20,000 in the 2022 budget, because COVID funding you could apply for to get that done. Am I speaking out of turn, or we're just not all sure, depending on what the federal government says we could do with the money?
What you said last was absolutely true. Right now, we still only have certain direction. It's very limited. There will be more flexibility and direction coming out, later on. But what I don't want to see in Patty's budget is that she go into a deficit line item. So that's why the intent with Frank and I was to put that money back. And then at the end of the year, if the money for whatever reason wasn't used, it would be swept to the general fund anyway. So it's not like, you just go and spend it then. It would be swept to the general fund. But to your point, no, they haven't given a lot of direction yet. We have limited direction on what we can use that COVID money for right now, and it will expand as time goes on.
Any other questions? Councilman Cohen?
Yeah, I just want to clarify. I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong. I'm just basically saying we should, what was stated, thank God that there's YouTube, thank God there's video and there's audio. My point basically being is, all I'm basically saying is I'm glad that we're not being shorted, and thank you, Mayor Rossi, for that explanation, because it was kind of driving me crazy. I think anytime that someone sees a 37.5% increase, that we all would ask the question, especially in such a tight budget. And so, and once again, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Patty. And, we will be more sensitive in the upcoming budget to make sure that there's some scanning money in there. So we hope. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Well, Patty and Matt, thank you so much for attending this evening. And if there's no further questions, can a vote for everyone approves? This is open to the entire council. Any noes? Any abstentions? Exciting. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matt. Hope to see you before June.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
No, thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Matt.
Bye,
Thanks,
Patty.
everyone.
Okay, item 6 will be deliberations, actions on Mayor Rossi's outdoor dining permit fees schedule. Again, Councilwoman Hosky.
I'm excited. So to the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of Mayor Nancy Rossi's outdoor dining permit fee schedule. The City Council, I want to bring this out favorably.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Thank you, Councilman. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Hamilton. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Bruno and Councilwoman Finelli. So we'll open this up for discussion. Chairman Quagliani.
So the communication changes the expiration date from March 29, 2021 to June 30, 2021. I'd like to amend that motion and see if we could cover this through the outdoor dining season, upcoming outdoor dining season. So I'd like it to expire November 1st, 2021. I'd like to make an amendment to that original motion and making the end date November 1st, 2021.
So Chairman Quagliani has brought forth the motion to change the end date to November 1st of 2021. Can get Chairman Councilman Donovan,
moved.
thank you. Can I get a second? Councilman Bruno and Councilwoman Johnston. Is there any discussion? Okay. All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. So I'll just read it as a whole. So to the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of Mayor Nancy Rossi's outdoor dining permit fee schedule, reports that the committee met on the 29th day of March 2020 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby suspends the outdoor food dining permit fees in accordance with the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions. This order will take place March 29th of 2020 and expire November 1st, 2021. And that is all.
Just a point of order, is it March 29th, 2021 or March 29th, 2020?
March 29th, 2021, it says.
Okay,
Did I say 2020? I'm sorry.
that's all right.
Oh, my apologies. And that is all that I have for this evening, Chairman.
So you have a motion and a second on the original motion.
Can I take a vote?
If there's any more discussion on the original motion, and then you need to take a vote.
I thought I just did that. Okay. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And that is all that we have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky. At this time, we'll get to item number 7, a motion to adjourn. Councilman Massaro, Donovan, seconded by Councilwoman Hamilton and Johnston and McGee, and we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.